Well, welcome to this Bexhill fishing session. I am in the absolute torrential rain. I didn't plan for the rain. I was hoping that it was going to be over with by the time I got down here. But anyway, we are the 16th of May 2026. I'm down Bexhill, and today I'm using my Action 4 camera because of course the pocket isn't waterproof and it is hacking down. Hopefully you won't get too many distortions and I will still catch something tonight. I've got fresh out lugs and I want to use them while I can. So let me get set up and I will be back with you in a moment. First rig that's going out there is a Portsmouth rig, 12-inch snods, and we've got on the top a 3.0 circle, the bottom we've got a 2.0, and these fresh outs are, as you can see, really juicy. It's very bassy tonight, at the moment anyway. We're in a southwesterly wind, on about 20 miles per hour. Yeah, so very short snods on these. I don't know how turbulent it's going to be with the current. I'm going to put that one out straight ahead of me. That ended up going straight ahead. That's fine. Just wanted to get my first one out, that's all. Now I'm going to have 4 rigs as usual. That's what I'm going to go for. I've got a number of different rigs as I normally would use, but I've also got some different baits, and I will bring those different baits up as and when I come to use them. But for now, I just want to get everything set up, everything put on, and then we can chill out and relax. When I say chill out and relax, I mean because the flood is literally coming in right now, and I want to get a little bit ahead of it. I've got a new 1-up and over that I'm going to be using today, and I'm using the like the proper dongle braid there, you can see there. This is going to have a Squid on, Bluey on. So Squid and Bluey is going to be on our dongles, as well as maybe even trying some prawns, raw prawns. But there's my dongle anyway. Once I've got this reel on, I'm not have to worry about opening this bag up again. Apart from my main light, my lamp, which is in there. But I just want to keep everything else dry in there. The rain's not showing any let up at the moment. I'm hoping that's going to change in a short while. What I'm hoping for today, it stops raining because it's actually getting heavier, but I'm hoping to get a bass with that fresh out. Had I have known it was going to continue like this, I probably would not have come fishing. When I left, it was just spitting a little bit, and of course it's a little bit beyond spitting now, isn't it? But do you know what? Do you know what? I love being out, even if it's in the rain. But I have to confess, over all the years that I fished, I don't think I've ever, probably maybe a couple of times, caught in the rain. I'm going to get a bit of a squid on there. I'll deal with the Bluey a little bit later on. because for obvious reasons you're going to need sort of like a bit more settled in cutting up the bluey and that, and it's not pre-cut or anything. But I'm going to put some squid on this one. Put a whole squid on. Got to be very careful because the wind is also getting up. And the wind often causes me more problems than the rain. We'll do our best to get through it. You and me will stick together on this and try to get ourselves through this. We're going to go right into the direction up tide, the wind. Okay, here we go. Okay, we'll see what happens, how far it pulls it down to the left. We've got two out. It's a bit crazy, it feels crazy. We've got two out though. Let's just turn that a little bit. And we've got a big bow in this one, so let's sort this out. It's gone right down tide there. So, we're back on the shingle. I've got fresh outs. So to show you these. So there's my fresh outs, all alive. That means they're not gutted. Let's get this in and cast it back out again. It's going to get caught on the groin, you see, otherwise. It's not all tangled up because of the rig, it's all tangled up because of when I brought it back in again, bobbing along across the sand. Okay, let's see what this is like. I will put another bit of lug on there. There you go, that's what we're getting out there. Come on, rain. You can chill out. Chill out just a little bit. So you see that we're in May, well into May, and yet look at the weather. Just look at that weather. That one seems to be settled quite well. I'll just move positions. Go. So we'll get the Portsmouth rig out, 12-inch snuds, fresh out lug, 6-ounce lead, and I'm going to whack that up to the right, up against the tide. Yeah, that's more like it. Nice accurate cast. Hopefully we're being within a fish. I'm going to move my gear up a little bit so I've got a bit of room to breathe. So with them two out, I'm going to proceed to get the next two rigs to hang up. And the next two rigs will be another Portsmouth rig and a pulley panel. And for now, I want you to keep an eye on those rod tips for me. So this pulley is going to be a 6-0 and a 3-0 circle, 6 O's on the bottom and the 3-0 circles on the hook on the top. And I'm using one of these splashdowns there. The left one is the Ziplex GSI, by the way. And my vacuum packed Bluey. What we've got written on here, just for the camera, we've got a 39-inch main body snood, a 1-0 and a 2-0. Hooks, 18-inch on the top and 15 on the bottom. The 16-pound mono. 60, I mean. No, 16 pounds snood. Mono, I believe. Oh, it doesn't even say that. It just says 18-inch length and a 15-inch length. I know that that's a 15-pound. On that Portsmouth, I'm going to put out fresh out lug and a raw prawn. See what we get. We are finally set up, as in 2 rigs are already out, 2 rigs are hanging up, ready and baited. And it's starting to push in a little bit more with the flood, and it won't be long until I change the rod that's got the fresh outs on. And yeah. And luckily the Fenix 27R is waterproof. That's my little diffuser on the end of there. So we can put that up already. One less thing for me to do. If this stops raining, I can actually get my pocket free camera on me and it's going to be better in low light. But hopefully we'll still be okay. And we're okay for battery at the moment. And you would think that to reserve power, I can just turn off the camera and put it back on. But to be honest with you, if you do it that way, you're going to turn it on when you've just missed the action of the actual rod tips. And I want to capture that. And the only way to capture that is to have it running continuously. So this one here has got the lug on, the Portsmouth, and the left one here has got the whole Squid on there. And as of yet, you guys, I'm still waiting for one of you to reply about getting a clip-on clock onto there that's waterproof, got a backlit screen. I've looked, but the only ones that seem to be available are the cheaper, sort of cheapy ones that just fail on me. All it takes is to be able to search for the correct name, and then all of them will just pop up. I'm sure there's a particular name for it. So it is exactly 8:30 now. (11:30 is the high tide. Last time I fished here, I was fishing on the groin next to me, and I was casting to my right. Those of you that are anglers, comment below if you remember a time when you first started sea fishing, even possibly even happened to you even recent years maybe, where you forget that your rod stand is on loose gravel or shingles, and suddenly your stand starts to slip deeper when the tide comes in and goes over the tripod, and then your rod suddenly moves and you think, oh, I'm onto something. I remember I'm doing that quite a few times during the first few years, where I was leaving the rod stand right to the edge, and that little disturbance made the rod jolt, and I thought, oh, I'm onto something. Southwesterly winds is what we've got tonight. If we had easterly winds and I had this weather, I would not have come at all fishing. It's only for the fact we've got southwesterly. And we're in a spring tide. We're actually at the peak of the spring tide down where I am. Next 3 days are a peak of the spring tide, so we've got more current movement, southwesterlies. The only downside is if we got the rain. Cloud cover's fine, but rain would indicate lower pressure, and we don't really want it to go too low. So as a measure of pressure, 1013 is what you'd say is normal, and it only goes down as probably 990, and that would be considered lower pressure. So when you're looking at numbers with the barometric pressure, it's not a vast amount in numbers, but it makes all the difference to the fish, especially for carp fishing. And I'm not a carp angler, but I'm fortunate to have a brother that's really into his carp angling, and my dad's been carp angling all his life, as well as sea fishing in his younger years. So I get to hear about the differences between carp fishing and sea fishing, and I know that they bring up pressure quite a bit. The swim bladder affects the swim bladder, but pressures also affect fish in the sea as well. But tidal movement and the water temperatures are quite key. We've really just started the high tide push now. We're into the last 3 hours, so it kind of gives us a good indication more towards the top of the high tides, you know, last hour and a half, 2 hours. But it could honestly, it could be any time when the fish start to feed, if they're going to feed. Thanks to the internet and to the technology that we've got now, it's really skyrocketed our abilities to learn, not just on the field, but to learn from the abundance of information from other anglers, from books. There's loads of books out there now. And of course now we've got AI. You have got to be careful with AI because it can get a lot of things wrong. So the good way to test it and kind of learn the way you need to approach the language of AI is to talk about things that you do know about to AI, and then ask it questions that you do know the answer to and see what it comes back with. You kind of get a feel for when AI is kind of leading you astray. Remember when my dad was doing sea fishing? I used to go with him when I was younger. And back then, there was nothing. And he's not really an avid reader. So what he learned from sea fishing was what other anglers would tell him, or not, where to go, and how to make his rigs. Ones that worked and didn't work. It was very caveman style. I say caveman style, it's really how human beings just learn. They know what they want to achieve, they put an idea down, they try that idea, it fails, they either start from the beginning or rectify whatever they're trying to do with some changes, and they keep on doing this repeat cycle of study, learn, error, and then correction, learn, and then keep on moving on. And then there's some people like us that are lucky enough to be in the position to have that knowledge given to us. And knowledge is so valuable. I'm going to get both of these rigs in now. They've both been out for long enough, I feel. There you go. So this one was the whole squid. This one's squid and bluey. A 6/0 hook on the bottom and a 3/0 circle hook on the top. The rig I've just taken off is a 1 up and over, 4 foot I believe. What I'm going to do is I'll bring the right one in as well, because I know that's got lug on that. And it gives me the ability to have the freedom then to cast it up tide without I've got to have my own line. There's nothing on there. I now know what to expect when I'm winding in now tonight, what kind of pressure, because of the undercurrents. It's only my first cast out. Should have projected that a little bit higher. We'll see how that settles down. Got that on target, that one. Now we'll rebait up those two. Just loosen off that drag. Just a little bit. It is 9 o'clock. So, 2.5 hours. I expect to catch very soon at least something. That's what we're aiming for. We want something, just to give us a sign that the fish are on the feed. Of the 61 lug I got today, I put aside 21 as fresh outs. The rest of my gutted to be used possibly in the next couple of days. It looks like my dongle snapped. Just literally just fell off. When I made it, I did make it with it going right for the middle. I haven't got my knife with me tonight, and it's a real pain. I don't want to have to use my scissors for everything tonight, because I could easily cut from my rig. But I'm left really with no choice. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to put a large chunk of bluey on there, because I'm probably not going to stay here to the full time to the high tide because of the way it's raining at the moment. So I'm going to put my chances out there early. So yeah, just take that tail off and I'm going to put that whole piece out there. And I'm going to turn it in back to front. I'm going to turn that end back to front. So all of the meat and the scent is going to be out there. I'll wrap that like that. Back to front load. See those tips now? So much easier to land a fish down on this particular part of the beach. It's very flat here and it goes up as a slow gradient. Where I was last time, it went up to a point where I had to climb up around about 6-7 foot high, and I was on like a razor blade edge, it would seem. The other side was a drop, and the drop in front of me was about 6-7 foot. Whereas at least here, when I land a fish, I can be quite close in to see it. I've done a little review on a sling, and the link is on the top right now. And as you can see, that sling that I got was 120mm. And it was huge, it was like massive. So I did actually send that back. It was actually built really well, but it weighed crazy amount, like 2 pounds I think it was, just by itself. So I sent that back and I've ordered another one. Can't remember what it was, but the information will be up on the screen. But the link to that review will be on the top right now. And you'll be able to see just how big that sling was. Look at these waves now, they're starting to come up now, much bigger. Look at this, look. We're going to be moving up. It ain't going to take long at all until those waves are going to be up on us. Which one's going to go first? The lug on the right? Or the Bluey and Squid on the left? It's 12 minutes past 10 and I'm getting a knock on the right rod, close in with the lug on. The left rod is over the groin of the left-hand side on the other side, and the right rod is about 30 yards out. I'm going to hold it for a minute and give a feel of it. I don't think it's anything. And there might be something on there. Might have been something to save the blank. Yes, there is. So we've saved the blank anyway. Ouch. Don't have to rough your skin up if you don't get that tail in. Even a little pup like this. So there we go. We've got one fish, saved the blank, a dogfish. Just scratched my hand. God, really did scratch it hard. So I'm going to get this back. This was on a Portsmouth rig on a 1-0 hook and just lug out about 30-40 yards. So let's put that back and see if there's anything else out there at close range. See what? That tail just clipped me and it did rough up my skin. First time I've had that. I know normally you'd make sure you hold it like that, but he just got in there before me. This guy's pretty tough. A little tiny one, mind you. We are getting towards the high tide, so this is maybe the time period that we're going to start to see some action. I have put both of my rigs away that are hanging up. I'm just going to use the ones that are out there right now. So we were saved by the dogfish, small one at that, but we were saved. So we didn't get a blank tonight. So let's see what else we get in the next hour, now that we caught something. So it's exactly 10:30, there's 1 hour to the high tide. So it seems the fish are just switched on. So we'll see what we get in the next hour. So we'll be staying to the high tide tonight. That one catch has made all the difference to me staying or leaving tonight. Hopefully we'll catch just another fish before we leave. I believe the time is getting on now. Much more closer now. So we're at 10:40. That left rod's got Bluey on and Squid. Well, it is now 10:50. We've had no more bites or anything like that. I'm just going to fish it now up to the point of just past 11 o'clock, and then I'm going to start packing away and head home. We haven't got a blank, but then we've only got one fish to count for it. Not great, but at least, like I said, we haven't got a blank. But there's still time. There's still time for another fish to get on there, because it really is starting to push much more harder now towards the peak of the high tide. On the left-hand rod, what we have a whole squid on there, and it's cast out at distance, right down through the middle. And on the right rod, we've got just lug on there. And the one with the squid on is a 1 up and over, 4 foot. And the one on the right is the Portsmouth rig. It's just starting to rain again. It's been doing that on and off all night. I don't mind the rain so much if it didn't affect the fishing, although it's not the actual rain that's affecting the fishing, it's the conditions of the pressure that's affecting it and the water temperature. But the thing that I don't like about the rain is just the soggy wrists is what you get. But other than that, I'm pretty dry. I've got good gear on. It feels like I'm a little bit wet actually through there, maybe not, but I'm pretty dry. No, there's nothing on here. That was the 1 up and over. There was nothing on there. So there was nothing on the fish baits tonight. And nothing on the Portsmouth rig. So this is the session over with tonight. I managed to catch one dogfish, nothing else tonight, nothing on fishy baits, just on fresh out lug. But we haven't blanked tonight, that's something. And we managed to get through the night all the way to the very end. So thanks for watching tonight, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we go on the next session, and hopefully we're going to get better weather and better catches.